This one, they've striked out. And then this one is just the way it's going to be.
Oh, yeah,
This
that's-
is the way it's going to be.
You
written.
sent us an update on that, on that change.
On the rules of decorum.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, you sent it.
There he is.
I'm here.
Shall we vote on it?
No, we should.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he had someone in his office, so I'm sure he'll be here.
Okay, now which button do I push?
Um,
Or do you want to come up here and do
I
that?
can do that. I forget which meetings who.
You're right, we're good. All right. It's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the Perkins Planning Commission meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Patty? Here. Brian?
Here.
Marla?
Here.
Joan?
Here,
And Kenneth is absent.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Item 2 on the agenda is consideration and action on consent agenda. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 9th, 2024. Approval of minutes of the special meeting, August 22nd, 2024. And the approval of rules of decorum. Do I have any discussion on any of these, or would you like to make a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the May 9th meeting, because that one.
Are we doing the individual or is it consent agenda?
Are you just doing May 9th, or?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing just May 9th. Is this going to be
Yeah,
as
the
a whole?
consent agenda is.
To
is
all
everything
three?
Unless you want to
Oh.
remove something.
Oh, no, okay.
Okay. I move we accept the consent agenda.
I second it.
Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
May I make one suggestion on those rules of decorum? When we are going to have a controversial item on the agenda, probably going to have speakers and stuff, could you provide this list so the chair can read it out to the
Absolutely.
audience?
Yeah.
What
I
the
have
rules
them-
are?
Absolutely. I carry them in the bag every meeting of every board and
Okay.
trust. So
Okay.
they're always available and extra copies.
Okay.
Yes.
Good deal. All right, item 3, consideration, discussion, and possible action on items removed from the consent agenda, and we have none. Item 4, consideration, discussion, and possible action for the City of Perkins Comprehensive Plan Update Project Charter.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm Larry Curtis. Some of you I met back on the 22nd. Some of you guys I met for the first time. So I'm Larry Curtis. I'm with Civic Dynamics. And so we have been engaged by the City Commission to move forward with a comprehensive plan update. And so the first thing that we did, we had our education that we had about the comprehensive plan process, and I did that this 22nd. And then this is kind of our kickoff meeting officially to talk about the charter. And so we will get started with that.
So are you updating the comprehensive plan and the charter?
No. So the charter, I'll talk about why it's called the
Okay,
charter. in a
okay.
second. So, no, not touching your charter.
Okay, okay.
I want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, personally, because I'm not a lawyer. But, so, it's kind of the first question is, what is a project charter? So this is the project charter. Project charter is a document that formally authorizes a project with an organization that outline the project's objectives, scopes, and stakeholders. So that's what this document is. And so when when you guys approve this, hopefully today, is that we will be able to put this online so that everyone can kind of see it and understand what the process is going to be. And so it kind of helps educate the public as we move forward instead of just having a generalization of how things will be. So it is a document, a PDF document that will be available to anyone to read. So the project purpose is to create a forward-looking comprehensive plan to guide growth and development for the next 20 years. I believe you were telling me before the meeting started was you had been here, had seen the last one, which was done by University of Oklahoma. Do you want to talk about that for a little bit? Maybe talk to your fellow commissioners about your experience with that document?
Yeah, I don't even remember exactly when that was. But I read the comprehensive plan that they provided, and there were so many errors in it. And in fact, in one chapter, you could tell that the student had just copied and pasted from another comprehensive plan because the name of the city was wrong. They didn't have Perkins. I can't remember what the city was that they had, but it, you know, so I had gone through it and corrected the errors, and then gave it to the city manager at that time. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I don't know if it was ever adopted or anything was ever done with it, but yeah, so.
College came out.
Yeah, it was bad. The teacher didn't even read it, I guess, before they provided it to us.
Yeah. So hopefully, the goal of this is to update that, but I am kind of treating this with more of a full update, not just a cursory update of the comprehensive plan. I'm not going to take their document and make changes to it, you know, changes to their Word document, and then have you guys redo it. So we're going to take it from the approach of kind of a little bit of a clean slate, take some of the stuff out there, see where we were then, where we are now in comparison, and see where we are going as we move forward. So project objectives is community visioning. We'll be doing a land use strategy of what was said in the original report to where we are now. In infrastructure and public services, economic development, environmental sustainability, transportation, community engagement, and alignment with state and regional goals. And so, being close to a major university, it'll be important for us to kind of see where OSU is as much as I went to all three schools, so you can't, I like all three of them, so I graduated from two, didn't graduate from one, but anyway, so we'll be looking at that. We'll also be working with the nation as well, because having a close tie with the Iowa Nation is important to see where they're going and how that's going to be impacting the city, and of course with the school, working with them as well. So this is kind of a kickoff meeting. This is kind of like we're going to start getting the word out, communicating with the public before we actually have a public meeting. So there'll be a survey, there'll be a public meeting associated with that. That will probably have it in either this location or another location. We'll put boards up that will be talking about housing, public infrastructure, and finding out what the community wants and to see. And so we'll be asking those questions through an online survey for those that can't make it to that meeting. And then we'll be providing that public forum so that way people can come in and provide their input at that location as well. Project character and development. We'll be looking at an overall how we want to communicate with that. We'll be hopefully having a website or webpage that will be dedicated for the project. We'll be doing some social media adherence to that as well, so that way we can get the word out as much as possible also through traditional media, through the news agencies, both paper and Channel 268, anyone else who's willing to listen from Oklahoma City as well. We're currently started our initial data collection. I've already reached out to Payne County and gotten your parcel data from them. They've been very kind, and also been going through OU's GIS data warehouse and gathering the information from there. There'll be additional data sets that we'll be working with some of our partners on, and then also with the U.S. Census on trying to get your demographic data honed down to your level versus an overall county level. Roles and responsibilities, we'll talk about that here in a second, and that communication plan. So stakeholder interviews, city manager was so kind providing with a list of individuals that he believes that are key stakeholders within our community, and those are typically business leaders, pastors, key people who have been influencing or have an influence on the community, and also provide a lot of input that way. Planning Commission, of course, will be a big part of that, Board of Adjustment, and any other commission or board that may be out there that would be very beneficial in providing some data towards us. Like I said, the public workshop is that we'll have that up, and we'll have those boards up to provide to gather that information. The online survey and social media, And then out of that information, that's where we'll be coming up with a community vision statement. So that'll be basically a one-page document that will have a very condensed version of what Perkins is about, and then also a lengthier statement that will actually go into a bit more in depth. But out of that information, that's how we'll drive that community vision statement. My job here is to facilitate and not to input my thoughts into this community. This is completely done by Perkins. So, scope of work, phase 3 diagnostic analysis. Again, doing those existing conditions, going back and looking at your, probably over the past couple of years, some of your updated zoning codes that have been done. Tammy has provided some of that to me. And then also any type of zoning cases that you may have had over the past 5 to 10 years as well, to see how those have incorporated into the community. We'll do a strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities analysis, or SWOT analysis, to see what the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats are for Perkins. So we'll be working directly with the Planning Commission on that, and seeing what we can get from the community. That will also be available through our survey to find out what our community thinks as well. And then we'll do a gap analysis to see what services are missing between what was, is, and now moving forward. We'll do an entire analysis associated with that. Phase 4, plan development. That'll be that land use planning. We will do a full future land use plan for the city of Perkins to guide them, so that way when zoning cases come before you, you'll have a map that will show you what areas of the city will be for commercial development, for residential development, for industrial development, things along those lines. So that way, anybody as well, the public will be able to see that, developers coming in will be able to see that and be like, so they want that over there. I need to talk to those landowners over there to see what would be a best fit. And then economic development strategies, we'll do an economic development analysis of the community to see where you are now and where maybe there could be some, as part of that gap analysis, where you guys could be going with that. Transportation and infrastructure, of course, being on the highway, we'll work with ODOT to see how the infrastructure is, what plans that they have on the 8-year plan out for Perkins, and of course work with the county, the commissioners, to see what they have planned for within the community as well, as being the main people that are responsible for the city's roads. It'll be key to talk to them, but of course to the city staff as well, when they come in and they assist. We'll also be looking at water, sewer, all the infrastructure associated with that, where it is, where it's now, and where it's going, to see what the growth pattern will be for the city and where monies may need to be dedicated for the community as it moves forward. And then we'll do a small housing plan as well to see what you currently have, what your demand is, and where you could be fitting in some of that missing middle housing, potentially some townhomes, or I won't say the bad word, apartments, but to be thinking about those things as you move forward. Again, this document is completely yours, and I understand that a lot of communities are like, they want to be the way that they are, small, they want to maintain that as much as possible. And so this document will be geared toward doing that and being able to help you either sustain what you have or be able to provide ideas and thoughts on how to move forward on some growth. Phase 5 is review and approval and implementation. So out of all that data and everything else, there will be a draft document that will be provided that will be available for the Planning Commission to review and to provide thoughts and comments on. And so that way we can have a review of that, of course, to staff, administration, anyone else that would be interested to provide their thoughts on that as well. After revisions, after we get the feedback, we'll do a revision. And then there'll be the final presentation to the Planning Commission. Of course, that will be a public hearing for a recommendation for approval. And as with all comprehensive plans, they are not laws. This is not an ordinance. This will be a resolution that will then go to City Council or the town board.
City Commission.
City Commission for final adoption and final approval. So key stakeholders, of course, are the City of Perkins officials, including the mayor, City Council, City Manager, and the City Clerk, Perkins Planning Commission, local business leaders, community groups, and residents. So the structure, so of course the sponsor is the City of Perkins. This is not being done by the COG or anything like that. It's the city itself doing it. So Civic Dynamics itself is the project manager, and then the steering committee is the Planning Commission. That is what you have been charged with as a part of the state statutes is to help guide and develop and growth and provide input and to help create the comprehensive plan for the city. So here's the timeline. This is about a year-long project. We had the contract originally approved back in August, and so through that have provided some additional information. But we'll have the charter approval for tonight, so that's October 10th. We'll start the community visioning process in November. We'll do the land use and infrastructure analysis from November to April. We are looking to have a draft comprehensive plan in place by June 2024, and then have final approval of the document by 2025. Right, that's all 2025. So you can kind of see the progression of the projects as they move forward, these being the beginnings and all the way up to the end. And within that, we have these smaller steps in here that includes initial data collection, communication plan, stakeholder interviews, organized public workshop, develop and analyze online survey, all these things that are associated with the development of the overall plan as it moves forward. So if there are some concerns that may be out there, is just the community engagement. Our goal is to do as much communication as possible and to get as much input as possible. So the concern is there may be a low turnout, but our goal is to get as much input as possible. When we did this in Verdigris, we had for a community of roughly about 5,000 people, we had roughly about 700 individuals respond back, and that's huge for a town. That's a great sample size that we had. In our public meeting that we had about 20 people show up. So it's a give and take. But you do as much as you can to get the word out about it, and so that way they can come in. Budget overruns, I do not foresee any. I promise, Bob. But it's just, unforeseen challenges. That's always something that's out there. It's always included with one of my thoughts. And delays, stakeholder approvals and feedback might take longer. Trying to set up those meetings with those stakeholders might take a little longer, so it might delay a little bit. But our goal is to get as much information and stay on task as possible. Assumption is that the project will receive full cooperation from the city officials, and that all required data will be made available in a timely manner. And so far, has been great. I cannot commend city staff or the county on being able to provide that information quite quickly. And that there will be no major disruptions such as a natural disaster. So let us hope. We ran into that in Bartlesville, unfortunately. We had a tornado come through, and we are in the process of doing our comprehensive plan. It did delay it by a month, just because trying to get everything cleared away and make sure that our citizens were taken care of. They focused on themselves before trying to get them to come out and talk about comprehensive plan. So those are just some of the things to be thinking about as we move forward. The communication plan will be providing monthly reports to city officials. We'll do public updates via the city website to see where we are. We'll be doing the stakeholder engagement, regular meetings and email and updates to what's being provided. Very similar to what the monthly report will be. That'll be kind of an email that will go out. And then public workshops to be provided through media, newsletters, communication bulletins, things like that. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Looks well thought out to me.
Do what?
So it looks well thought out to me
Yeah.
so far.
Overwhelmed with the information.
Yeah, it's a lot of information. But I think it's a great thing to plan our growth. Because, even now, things that we have done recently, I think, whoops, we should have had this. We should have had something else here. No, I think it's a really good idea. I just hope that, people want to participate. Everybody complains, but nobody wants to participate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, getting people out is one of the hardest things to do. I used to work in the city of Lawton also when they did that, and then the city of Stillwater, and it's the same group of people that are concerned that show up, and then the ones that don't show up are the ones that complain.
Exactly.
So, yeah, trying to get them to come in is the hard part.
Maybe that's the way we should advertise it. If you have a complaint, come,
Yeah.
you know? We'll stay home that night.
I will say the one thing that I have learned, unfortunately, through a series of learning opportunities is that no longer do a town forum, aka allow a microphone to be utilized and stand on a soapbox, because that just gives one person generally likes to occupy that entire hour. And so, yeah, so what we do now is, like I was saying, is that we put the boards up with sticky notes, so that way they can see what their concerns are, they can provide them that way, and it gets permanently documented within the document itself,
Right.
because all that gets put into the
Yeah,
document.
well, what we did one time was we made posters of the different things in the comprehensive plan, and like he said, give them sticky notes and say, write down a question or whatever, and stick it to that poster, whichever one you have concerns about.
Yeah, and that way they can also.
That way, yeah, you're not listening to a lot of conversation or arguments or anything like that.
Exactly, because, you know, that opens up the floodgates for anything and everything to happen.
So what is it that we actually need to do here on?
Yeah, that was going to be my question too. Do we need to make a motion to approve, to go ahead with it, or what do we need to do?
Okay.
Is that what we need to do? Okay. To proceed with it, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go forward with a comprehensive plan update for the city of Perkins.
I second that.
Is that you, Jill?
Yes. Sorry.
Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Looking forward to working with you.
Absolutely looking forward to working with you too. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, we are down to item 5, consideration, discussion, and possible action to elect a chair for a 1-year term.
I nominate Patty.
I second that.
That was fast.
Yeah, you're the best person for that job.
Isn't she though? I think so too.
Any second?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not hear you.
That's probably because I was speaking even as Brian was nominating.
I'm a little bit hard of hearing. Okay, Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
Okay, item 6, consideration, discussion, and possible action to elect a vice chair for a 1-year term.
Talk to you about this, would you like?
That's fine.
Are you good for that? Are
As
you
long as
good?
Patty's in charge, I'm fine.
Okay, all right.
You just have to do it when I'm not here.
Okay, well, I'll nominate Brian.
And I second it.
All right, Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
Item 7 is new business, and we probably don't have anything that I know of. So I will listen for a motion to adjourn.
I do so make that motion.
I'll second that one.
Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
And I guess there's no floodplain.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
have
guess
no
not.
floodplain. No floodplain.
I can give you the floodplain? Oh, you know what, that's why I have so many extras, because they're separate.
Well,
I
there's
just didn't give them
I
to
thought
you.
maybe
I
we
have them. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
You clipped them together.
Okay, call the meeting to order of the City of Perkins Floodplain Board. I'm sorry, item 1 is roll call.
Patty?
Here.
Brian?
Here.
Joan?
Here,
Marla?
Here.
And Kenneth is absent.
Item 2, consideration and action on consent agenda, approval of minutes of the regular meeting, May 9th, 2024, and approval of rules of decorum. Any discussion? No? Okay.
Somebody else is trying to make a motion.
I move we approve.
I'll second.
Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Joan?
yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Item 3, consideration, discussion, and possible action of items removed from the consent agenda, which we have none. Item 4, consideration, discussion, and possible action to elect a chairperson for a 1-year term.
I nominate Patty.
I second.
You don't want to do it, Joan?
What?
You don't.
All right, Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Item 5, consideration, discussion, and possible action to elect a chairperson for a 1-year term.
I nominate Brian.
I second it.
Why do we have to do that twice?
Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Item 6, new business. And I don't believe we have anything. And item 7, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I second it.
Patty?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
And Marla?
Yes.
All right.
And now,
I should be the red stop button.